All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin, and the top four race is looking very good for us. Obviously, like all the other time, we're going to talk about the team. The team looked a bit wild, man. I've got to admit, that team selection is nothing like we talked about in the preview. It looked very, very wild, but once again, clean sheet, 2 goals, victory, and yeah, very, very good performance, I believe. As I said, we'll talk about it. First of all, shout out to everyone that's joined in at the moment and that will join throughout the stream, and we'll watch it down the track. Thank you so much for your support. Honestly, do appreciate that. Yusuf is already here. Thank you so much, my man. And my panel, I've got Taryn, RJ, and Ryan back here. So first of all, Taryn, how you doing?
Very good. Just watched the Chelsea when eating some delicious food. So perfect combination. My 2 favorite things, food and Chelsea. We've got some paneer curry on my plate, and yeah, watched Timo Werner get an absolute massive performance. But yeah, what a win. Seriously, we think about, it's only Fulham, but that is a crucial win for our top 4 hopes, closing the gap on Leicester and, getting away from Liverpool and West Ham. So yeah, I'm really, really happy, and I don't think I can pick up many faults on that game. It's going to be difficult in the review, but yeah, thanks for having me on.
Brilliant. Deep State, thank you for joining. Deep State is saying, are we 1 or 2 points behind Leicester? I think 2. We're 2 points behind Leicester. So it's looking good, man. If we can catch Leicester, we've got that game against Leicester as well in the Premier League. So that's going to be fantastic. Yusuf, fresh trim is copying down here. Yeah, man, the trim is, hold on, let me just show you guys.
Ooh. That's fresh.
Yeah, I got it nice and smooth. And look at the beard, man. The guys did a mad job on me. Ryan, my boy, has things.
I'm good. I wish I had a fresh trim too. Maybe soon this week.
Well, it wouldn't matter. We can't see you anyway, right?
Oh, yeah. True. But yeah, I'm feeling good about this game. I think it was a fun look, especially with Mason and Gilmour at the pivot. It was so good to see how everybody alternated with each other and how they set up. And yeah, I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that pivot was a bit funny, and we'll talk about it. I don't think it was always a pivot. I think a lot of times it was just Billy Gilmour by himself. Yeah, there was times where Mount was dropping deep. Ziyech definitely dropped deep a lot of the times as well. So yeah, well, obviously we'll talk about it. RJ, my man, how's things?
What can I say? It's 4:30 in the morning. Nothing better than getting up at 2:30 and watching our guys get a big win. As Taryn said, this is a huge result. It's Fulham, but it's much more than that. It's big for not just the Premier League, but it's good because we rested a lot of key players. We got a clean sheet. It gives us a lot of positive energy heading into the Madrid game. So yeah, absolutely buzzing, boys, and yeah, can't wait to unpack the review.
Nah, for sure, man. I mean, people need to understand this was a big win, and we've struggled against teams like this. So it was good to see that we've put a team away like that. Probably should have scored a lot more than 2. Seriously, 100%. There were chances that we should have scored a lot more. But look, 2 is still good enough at the end of the day. Boys, let's talk about some initial reactions like we always do. First of all, shout out to Kamal as well. Kamal, thanks for joining. Without Mount is an issue. Then we've got Abu, thanks for joining as well. Start with you, Taryn. Some initial thoughts about that whole game. How'd you feel?
Yeah, very, very good. I think we controlled the game really well, but I would say that Fulham, honestly, they didn't look like a team that really needed the win today. They were really not impressed. We were seeing games where we've actually...
But they started all right.
But in terms of the whole game, that's just the tactical setup, the way they played. We've said before teams have looked bad against us. That's because we look good. Fulham really did not come out, but still, we played very well. We controlled the game. I'd say we had a tactical setup where we kind of let them have the ball at times, tried to counter with our quick players. But yeah, the first half controlled, second half, got early goals, kind of ease the nerves in the second half, which I felt was very important to getting the win in the end. But I just want, in the end, 3 or 4 goals, just one game where we go a bit ruthless. If it's Fulham, they're not really attacking us that much. Let's just go out and score like 4 or 5. But, I'm happy with the win, like I said, and RJ said very well. It's a very, very crucial win for our top 4 hopes. West Ham, we're going to be under pressure against a very good Burnley side on Monday, who won 4-0 against Wolves recently. It's going to be very interesting now, the top 4 hopes. I think this game is actually very crucial. We have some very tough games coming up. We have City, Leicester, Arsenal, Aston Villa, and then a really big game sandwich in between them. So we needed this to start off a really, really crucial month in this club's history, the biggest since 2012. So for me, what a win, a great performance, and I can't put any faults to Tuchel and the boys today.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. As you said, there's some big games coming up. This is perfect platform. Yusuf, 4:30 in the morning for RJ. Yeah, man, RJ and me, 4:30 in the morning, 4:40 in the morning, just to be precise, Sydney time. We've got HZ, Hakim Ziyech season. Give Timo some praise, man. 100% he's going to get praise. Don't you worry. We're going to talk about that. Ryan, just some initial thoughts, my man?
No, it was a really good game. I'm glad to see that, my treads finally come to fruition. Last time Mason started on pivot, everybody was criticizing him for his positioning. And I suggested a 3-3-1-3. And I think today we saw that a lot with Mason getting to be a free attacking mid. So it was really good to see that. And three behind them was Reece James sticking back and Hakim and Mason alternating, dropping deep to be alongside Gilmour. So it was really good to see that. I think a lot of trust went into Gilmour being in that lone DM role. I mean, having him coming in for his first game in how long, having that responsibility to turn and find those passes and guard our back three, I think he did a really good job today. So I'm very happy with his performance.
Yeah, man. I thought in the first probably 10 to 15 minutes, Fulham really pressed hard and they pressed well as a unit. And I thought, wow, they're getting all over Billy Gilmour. And, Billy didn't seem like he had any support. As the game went on, especially, latter halves of that first half and then the second half, Billy really looked good. And he stood up to the challenge. And kudos to Billy, man. And kudos to Tuchel for giving him that chance as well. It looked like in the press conference that he was going to stick with Kante and Jorginho, but I'm really, really glad that, Jorginho got a bit of break and Kante got a bit of break as well. Probably wasn't any need that much to have Kante back on. Maybe there was, I suppose, because with, Mount being slightly sort of taking an injury, I don't think it's that serious. But, yeah, we'll talk about the substitution here. Ziyech came off, which was a bit strange. RJ, my man, some initial thoughts.
Yeah, no, the guys covered it pretty well. But for me, I thought, despite that first 5-10 minutes you mentioned, Miz, and I wrote it down in my notes here as well, is that I thought Fulham did start off the brighter. And I thought, okay, they're having a genuine go here, as we suspected in the preview. But once we got that opening goal, they seemed to sort of drop their heads collectively. Even though they had a couple of off chances throughout the first half, I never was really concerned, although Mendy made some crucial saves, which we'll unpack for sure. But overall, I just was very pleased with the way, despite the significant changes in key positions, we were able to not only just withstand the initial storm, but actually grow into the game as it progressed. And again, we continue to create these chances. It's just a matter of putting them away and getting those 3 or 4 goals that Taryn mentioned. But overall, it's much more positive than the very few negatives I could pick out. So, yeah, happy days, guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Maldini's middle finger, thanks for joining. Fulham had no end product. Chelsea played to counter them. Should have at least scored 2 more. 100% agreed. Big up Mendy. He was pivotal in keeping us in the match. 100% Mendy was fantastic. When we do player analysis, lots of things to talk about Mendy. I think it was brilliant. And also the way, obviously we'll talk about the match in between as well in terms of the first half, second half. I love the way how our team, at times bypassed the midfield and went long, especially the first goal, which was a long ball. I loved how we tried doing that every now and then. And I've always said we need to mix things up. We don't always have to build up. Sometimes we can go long and try and, catch the opposition out, which was really, really good to see. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start this particular review, as we always do, with the lineups. Let's talk about this. I'm just bringing this up. Just zoom in on that a little bit more. Okay, Taryn, I'll go with you again with the lineups to start this discussion. As you can see, Mendy at the back, Christensen, Silva, Zouma. So Azpilicueta obviously rested. Reece James comes back in the right centre-back. Billy Gilmour, Mason Mount, Chilwell, Ziyech, Timo Werner, Havertz. Now, I don't know what you guys have thought, and it'd be good to hear from, obviously, from a lineups perspective and the setups perspective. But I thought the setup was more or less like this, as opposed to what they're showing here with Billy Gilmour and Mount in a sort of flat sort of double six. I feel like it was more in this sort of manner. I'll let you guys talk about that. Taryn, what do you think about that lineup, man?
Yeah, Mr. I've just written down here that I think before the game, I thought we had disciplined 3-4-3 with Mason Mount kind of flanking Billy Gilmour, players that almost like vertical kind of playmaking in this pivot, like Kante does usually in the game against Real Madrid. But for me on the pitch, it seemed like a 3-5-2 for me, with Ziyech kind of tucked in to make one of the attacking eights and Gilmour being that green player, that pivot. That's actually a position that Gilmour did the best at in Chelsea. He did it against Liverpool. He did it very, very well against Everton last season. And when he kind of played alongside Kante and alongside Jorginho this season, he doesn't seem the kind of player. He likes to be dominant the ball. He likes to be controlling the tempo on his own. He likes to be the only player kind of building up play. And that's when we see the best of him. For his age, I've got to say, very good. But yeah, in terms of the lineup a bit more, Thiago Silva was probably a big surprise for me. Get another game as age. Tuchel was always mentioning, Lampard used to mention the overloads with Silva, needs rest every 2 or 3 games. But he started the game. And I'd say in the sweep position, maybe it doesn't require as much physical exertion, man marking as much as Christensen and Zouma did. Silva's more like that free player to receive passes, to alleviate pressure and to cover spare runs. But Silva's a big shock. Werner as well. I wasn't sure if he was going to play. I believe Hudson-Odoi would probably start, or even Giroud or Abraham. I wouldn't be surprised. But let me tell you, Werner was in there to deal with Fulham's transitions, and we'll get into him a bit later. But I really understand that by Tuchel. But I must say, today I was a bit surprised by the tactics and the formation before the game. But Tuchel's completely got it right. Tuchel has completely got it right yet again. He's made changes. He's brought fringe players in for this game. And let me tell you, this guy can't do anything wrong at the minute, Thomas Tuchel. Every formation, we can't pick out any faults. And the lineup was perfect.
Yeah, man. That's what I say. I've always trusted Thomas Tuchel. Whatever he does, I'm trusting him. Shout out to my boy Kafkaz here. Guys, check out his channel. Subscribe to him. Spot on. It was a 3-5-2 and Mount tucked in when Hakim went forward, vice versa. Yeah, that's exactly how I saw the situation as well. RJ, looking at this lineup again, as you know, you were there for the preview with us. I mean, were you surprised to see such a crazy bit of a lineup? I mean, no Azpilicueta. We kind of thought that maybe Silva was going to get the rest, but completely understand what Taryn's saying. Maybe you don't have to exert too much energy being in the middle. You don't really need to run around too much. You can sort of oversee everything. And Aspi probably needed a bit of break playing as a right wing back for the past couple of games, and he's been playing for a while. And then obviously the midfield as well with Billy Gilmour. We really didn't think that he was going to feature, but I'm glad that he did. And then Timo Werner yet again starts, and it seems like Tuchel simply cannot do without him. How do you see that lineup?
Yeah, no. First of all, massive surprise, but I think the caveat we always make is that we are, as Kafka said, we're just living in Tuchel's world. And to be fair, the one thing that we all agree on is that Tuchel always surprises us, and he continues to do so. It's just, what's he going to surprise us with next? For me, I thought the most surprising element was the actual dropping of both Jorginho and Kante. That was a bold move. And I thought, wow, he took a high risk there. But as we saw, it's clearly paid off now, because Jorginho has had a full game of rest and Kante for 2/3. So it's for me, I look at it as a major positive, not just the result in itself, but what it does for the Madrid game. That was a massive sort of decision there. But in terms of Thiago Silva's inclusion, the reason why I think we all went with Azpilicueta first is because it was a flip of a coin thing. We want leadership and experience, and if it's Azpilicueta, it means Silva's dropped, and vice versa. So he obviously went with Silva and gave Azpi the rest. So totally justifiable, made sense to me, and the result paid off. I thought Zouma helped out quite a fair bit, and as did Christensen. So like you said, Taryn, Silva's actual physical workload was somewhat reduced because of the contribution from Zouma, whose recovery runs were quite impressive at times. But in terms of Timo Werner, I think that's probably a bit of a signal, perhaps, that he might not necessarily start the Madrid game now that he had the full game against Fulham. So who knows? He might start again and end up pulling off another great performance. But overall,
you know what,
yes, go on.
I was just going to say, I don't think he's dropping Werner, man. I think he really, like Werner does what he wants him to do, the pressing from the front, really puts the opposition on the front foot. But yeah, man, continue.
No, I was just going to say I wouldn't be surprised if he does, but at the same time, I'm thinking I wonder if he's trying to just maximize his impact for this game with the view of he's not going to start the next game. But he seems to have, like Mason Mount in many respects, endless energy. So who knows? He's like an infinity stone, as Jam would say, Chelsea Social. But yeah, overall, very impressed. And like I said, the biggest surprise to me was that pivot swap. So kudos to the guys.
Now, for sure. Shout out to over 50 people logged in right now. Thank you so much for all the support that you guys always show. Please smash the like button, number one. Take the opportunity if you're enjoying the review, and we're going to get into much deeper sort of conversation. Smash the like button, and the panelists, check out all their socials in the description, and please follow them everywhere. Thank you so much for that. Ryan, let's talk a little bit about this first half, especially, first and second half. Let's talk a bit about that, the tactical side of things. I feel like, Ryan, Fulham, they, as I said, with their lineup, as we can see, they pressured us in that first 10 to 15 minutes really well. They, pressed as a unit, really put a lot of pressure on our backline. Christensen, Silva, Zouma, Gilmour, Mason Mount and Ziyech would have to come into midfield and try and help out. But predominantly, we did have Havertz and Timo Werner always sort of staying up for any sort of counter situation. Obviously, as soon as we got that goal, and that was, we'll talk about that goal. It was a long ball. I believe it was a long ball from Thiago Silva probably to Mason Mount, and I think that long ball policy was probably due to the fact that Fulham was pressing so much, and we were just trying to bypass our midfield. What do you think about that tactical sort of battle that was going on in that field in the first probably 10 to 15 minutes?
I'm glad you asked me that. Can you bring up the other setup that you edited, like how you think?
Oh yeah, sure.
Through?
Yeah.
Nice. The way I saw it is that, can you put Chilwell alongside Timo in a front three? Yeah, well, yeah. The way I saw it is that and can we have Ziyech coming a little bit deep, but a little ahead of Billy, and Billy more, kind of like that. That's how I saw it, like a 3-3-1-3. The reason why it ended up like this, and we saw so many long balls going up top for Chilwell overlapping or Werner and Kai running in behind, is because I think it was very odd that Fulham pressed, but they kind of sat in front of Billy Gilmour. They got Billy out of the game. However, they did not press our three centre-backs. Our three centre-backs had reign to pick out any passes they wanted to pick, which is odd because usually I think the best way to stifle us is to press our three centre-backs and then surround our midfield pivot, forcing us to play on the flanks. And that forces us to have like backwards and sideways passing. But today, Fulham just rested alongside Billy Gilmour, got Billy out of the game. And our three centre-backs had free reign to hit long balls to Mason, to Chilwell, to Werner, to Kai.
Yeah.
And I think that the setup was like this, and we implemented it very well. A great movement. I think right now we're seeing the chemistry building with our front five or front six. I think before we missed that chemistry, and now I think our players know where each other is going to be. It's slick movements, slick runs in behind, short passes, long passes, everything. I think our players did a very good job in counter-attacking today. But I think counter-attacking is a kind of could lead people the wrong way of the perceptions. The way we counter-attack, we don't sit back and win the ball in our defense and then counter-attack. What we do is we win the ball in central areas so we can outnumber the opposition's defense with having 3 runners in behind. We don't win the ball back by Silva or Christensen, then shoot it up long. We win the ball around where Ziyech is in this picture, or Reece James is in this picture, or even where Mount is in this picture. And we always have 2 to 3 runners going in behind. I think that's something, a testament to our work rate and how Tuchel has set us up. I think Billy had a lot of responsibility being in this position because, having a young player with lack of experience, he could make a lot of mistakes there, staying too long on the ball. I think it showed how much Jorginho brings to this team, that experience, knowing when to drop next to our centre-backs. I think Billy did not drop next to our centre-backs enough today. Kind of isolated our our back three, but that what kind of allowed us to play those long balls today. I think that it was really good. And also Christensen, he's doing a very good job not being an overlapping center back, but he gets forward in inverted positions and link plays like a midfielder. So he doesn't whip in crosses, but he links play like a midfielder when he gets into those positions. I think it's a really good dynamic we have. We have players that can play in any position, and that's great. Yeah, I don't think Zidane could predict us. Anybody could predict us. I don't think even we can predict us. We're just so good. So good.
No, 100% agreed, man. Taryn, did you sort of feel this was a glimpse of maybe something that could happen next season? Like a lone sort of DM, more attacking sort of midfielders, dropping deep, more of a mixture of build-up sometimes, but sometimes long to catch out our quick forwards, as Ryan was saying, even push up the fullbacks to join in with the attack. Did you feel maybe there was some glimpse of what possibly could happen next season? But at the same time, did you think that, Billy did an okay job against Fulham, but no way he's going to be able to do that level of job by himself season in, season out against some top teams out there? Maybe we do need a different caliber of midfielder to sit there. Maybe it could be Kante, but then again, Kante has a tendency to go up as well. He doesn't always like to just sit deep. Do you know what I mean? Is that how you felt at times?
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting question, but I wouldn't solely say one game is a catalyst of what could happen next season. But I also will say today, the first half, a one-touch passing, how fluid we looked up front with like Ziyech coming forward, Mount interchanging in the midfield, the overlapping runs. It was so beautiful to watch at times. And I will say also that Tuchel, in his career, I wouldn't say that every single team is going to play similar tactics. It's always depending on the players. But at Borussia Dortmund, he had kind of Julian Weigl playing that kind of DM kind of screening role that Gilmour played today. At PSG, he had Idrissa Gana Gueye to play that role. So basically on Tuchel's previous management, Tuchel's previous management experiences, I say it is likely that this could happen next season. Maybe us signing a DM or Gilmour even playing there. It could happen. Very unlikely though. But today, I will say again, today it looked really, really good in that first half. Amazingly good with 2 attacking eights. I'd say a bit more accomplished than how Lampard tries to be attacking eights. It was almost at times like the build-up was kind of a low DM and there was too expansive, too wide, but they were always close together. There was always options on the ball to build out. I feel like the screening of Thiago Silva really helped with this as well. It was an extra passing option on the ball, the free ball, as I said, the free roam kind of centre-back at all times. But yeah, it could happen next season. I wouldn't be surprised. But I will say Tuchel kind of bases his tactics around different players. At PSG, he based his tactics around Mbappe and Neymar, kind of built that team around that. At Dortmund, he built around Aubameyang and Marco Reus. So it's surprising to say, but I will say we've played amazingly well with a double pivot this season. So it's a bit early. I'd say we'll have to see this month. It's a very pivotal month. If we go out of a few competitions with this system, we're going to have to change it, obviously. But if we consider and we continue and win, touch wood, win the Champions League, win the FA Cup, qualify top 4, I don't really see why we should change from the formation tactics that's already got us there.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't think we will be changing too much from what we've been doing so far. But it was good to see a little bit of a tweak today. This is a very interesting comment. I want to go to RJ on this one. Andrew, once again, thank you so much for joining the live chat, my man. Andrew's saying, I felt like today was prepping the shape for Wednesday. There could be some validity here in terms of, especially those long balls, allowing our speedsters to get behind the defense. And just quickly, the way obviously we're going to talk about the goal. The way sort of Mason Mount was sort of operating at times in these sort of areas, and also Ziyech sort of interchanging. Sometimes Mount would drop deep and then Ziyech would be here. But that goal that we scored, that first one where it was a long ball from Silva and Mount with a brilliant control, and then sliding through to Kai Havertz. I feel like, sorry, I didn't even show you guys all that description that I was sort of saying. I was meant to be showing that. So yeah, guys, this was the situation where Silva put that long ball and Mount sort of played in this sort of, with a good control and then sliding that ball through to Kai Havertz and then Kai Havertz scoring. RJ, do you feel like there's some validity into what Andrew is saying over here in that we could try and catch out Real Madrid in that sort of play and the way we sort of played today against Fulham?
Oh, definitely, it's possible, but I think the one thing I'd sort of say is that we're going to have different characteristics of players that we're using for that game, and I therefore say that we'll have a different type of build-up or like setup. And I'm referring directly to the pivot situation, and I think that we are comparing, while they have the same colour jersey, we're comparing two different teams. In Fulham and Real Madrid, I think it'll be a different type of opposition there. And I think that at the same time, with Jorginho that back, and if Kovacic is back as well, even though he probably won't start, I dare say the way in which we build up the play will be slightly different. But that said, I actually like the way in which we're not just relying on trying to play too short. I think there is a lot of benefit in changing it up and going direct and long at times and having that guessing game with our opposition. So Real Madrid, we know, are going to come out to us at some point because it's only one goal. So Zidane might tell them, let's just be patient, blah, 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 and don't overcommit too early. But we know at some point, the longer it stays at 0-0, they're going to need to commit eventually more bodies forward. And therefore, that might be the opportunity to have something like what we saw there in that first bit, where we do go direct and long and really hit them on the break. So just definitely a lot of validity there. But I think it's just we're using different players because we had mass rotation. And for the most part, what's worked before this game has essentially worked. So, and especially the first leg, I just want to pick on that point. The first leg of that game, particularly in the first half, we were phenomenal, in my opinion. And I know that Real Madrid's going to have a couple of players back. Mendy will be back. Ramos probably back. So it does change the game a little bit, obviously. But that said, if we play with that sort of conviction and that style, there's a couple more goals in it for us. So definitely respect Andrew's views. And I think he's definitely got some valid points there. But I think that this is not just a foreshadowing of that. Yeah, no, 100%, man. 100% agreed. Let's now talk about that first goal. Taryn, my boy, obviously we said a little bit about it, but let's get into it in more details. That ball from Silva, first of all, was so brilliant to find Mason Mount. And that control from Mason Mount was just as sublime. And then Mason with such a deft touch. I mean, to all the people that think, oh, he doesn't get enough open play assist and he doesn't have that in his locker, I think he's pretty much silenced those critics from that brilliant pass. And he tried to do that several times in that particular match. And then Kai Havertz, I think Kai Havertz is probably more of a natural finisher than Timo Werner. I'm not really putting this as a comparison or anything. I'm just saying I think he is more of a natural finisher. He's more someone who just allows his instincts to take over as opposed to Timo Werner, who I feel like just thinks too much up there. But yeah, nice threaded ball to Kai Havertz, and Kai Havertz just slots it in. Yes, it took a little bit of a deflection from the keeper, but nicely done. Taryn, what do you think about that goal, man?
Yeah, first of all, amazing ball by Thiago Silva. We saw a lot of line-breaking passes from today where he's literally taken 3, 4, 5 players out of the game. What a ball up to Mount. And let me tell you, that ball was not hard to control. It wasn't easy to control at all. A beautiful first touch to just take it down with such ease. And it just shows the confidence that Mason's in at the moment, that without breaking a sweat, he's doing these world-class touches, similar to Havertz against Crystal Palace, that kind of flick touch. But what a touch by Mason Mount. And that ball was so good. Perfect weight on the ball to set up Havertz. through Aina's legs or something like that. And just an amazing, all from Mason Mount. The ball from Silva to Mason Mount, but the way he just did it with such ease, such composure, bringing down the ball, and just amazing ball. And Kai Havertz, Kai Havertz is very, very composed in front of the goal. I've seen it previously at at Bayer Leverkusen. I've seen it before, even in his early days at Chelsea. This guy doesn't panic in front of the goal. He's a natural finisher at some stages. We've seen some games, maybe the Leeds game or Crystal Palace game, missed a few chances, but a wonderful finish from Havertz. And Areola's a very hard goalkeeper to beat, and he got the better of him there. Great finish. But, that was a really well-constructed goal. I think some of the commentators were saying how we're kind of doing long balls today. We've seen a weakness. Thomas Tuchel saw weaknesses in Fulham's team. Anderson and Edouard maybe struggle with long balls at times, but a great ball from Thiago Silva, perfect on the money. A wonderful world-class touch from Mason Mount, a beautiful threaded ball into Kai Havertz, and a composed snake-like, amazing, cold-blooded finish from Havertz. Beautiful, beautiful goal. I think that was honestly such a great goal. The second goal as well, we'll get into that, I think, with RJ or Ryan in a bit, but that goal really, it was such a crucial goal in the stage of the game. Fulham really had to apply pressure onto us. It looked like we might have conceded at one stage, but that goal eased it all off, composed it for the rest of the half, and really allowed us to come and get into the game with our lovely possession play, allowed Billy to become into his own. So Mason Mount, every week he's getting better and better, you know what I mean? He's becoming such a big player.
It's mind-blowing. Every week he's so better and better.
Everyone's realising now he's the one player on the pitch. I've said it before. You look at him and you're like, out of everyone here, a 22-year-old guy, out of all these big money signings, all these big players, you're the guy who's catching everyone's eyes. World class on Mason Mount. He's creating goals. He's getting pre-assists, I like to call them. Absolutely sublime. Absolutely sublime.
Yeah. Just on Mason Mount, I think.
Yeah, just quickly, boys. RJ, carry on with the Mason Mount talk. I'm just going to take a quick little bathroom break. I'll be back, guys.
Right. So just quickly on the Mason Mount stuff there, what I think is the most impressive about him is the fact that he's delivering these outcomes on the field, but those outcomes are being delivered from the fact of what he's putting on the training paddock. At 22 years old, he gets all these plaudits because of his continued maturity and the leadership he shows and the incremental improvement he goes game by game. Because you look at when he was at Derby, he was always someone that he had this potential about him, but wasn't obviously at the elite level yet. But then when he had his first season with us, you could see, okay, he's definitely shown shades of quality, but always consistent in terms of his work rate. But he was a little bit, not rusty, but he was still a little bit need refining in terms of some decision making and certain touches, etc. But as this season has gone on, he continues to improve himself physically, game in, game out, but his intelligence, and he's just a manager's dream in that sense that he continues to absorb information and not just take that information, but actually go out into the game and affect it. And he's someone that can be trusted. So he blends in both, the physical elements of his game, blended in with his continued intelligence and improvement each game. So I just thought with that first goal, he started off as a pivot, slightly ahead, kept interchanging a little bit with Ziyech to help protect Billy, as we all agreed. But for that first goal, 57-meter pass from Thiago Silva to someone playing essentially in that middle of the front three. So the fact that he continues to demonstrate that versatility, it's that versatility what makes him so indispensable at this rate. So yeah, I just thought again his contribution to the team cannot be overstated.
RJ, what an improvement since last season, literally. Last season, he was amazing for the first month or so. This season, consistently the whole year, he's been by far best player. All of his elements of his game, improving. With just one season, I'm actually scared to see how good he's going to be when he's the same age as Fernandes, De Bruyne. I'm already seeing some attributes of Kevin De Bruyne. I know it's a bit early to say, but the way he kind of drops it on the flanks, creates chances, creates overloads, he's so composed on the ball. Seriously.
Taryn, you're right, bro. You're honestly right.
Yeah, but he also brings that extra sort of, the De Bruyne comparison makes sense from the perspective of
and what work rate as well.
His improved vision. Like his vision has gotten better.
Exactly.
The touch was amazing, right? Everyone's gone on about that first touch, which is obviously up here. But for me, some of the weight of those passes were, wow. Those passes were next level to me. And I just think he continues to improve on that because he was always someone that had this energizer bunny sort of mantra about him, but always send overhit passes or pick the wrong option. He just continues to improve in that respect, and I can't wait to see what a 25-year-old, 26-year-old Mason Mount looks like.
You know,
Exactly.
He presses well. Look, I'm not comparing him right now with Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne is phenomenal. But this kid at the age of 22 is starting to show incredible ability, presses well, counter presses well, understands the defensive duties, understands the movement, leader as well. Now he's pumping in with assists. Goals are coming through as well, so he's a very good finisher. The only one who can take the long-range shots in our team, we really haven't seen much from Ziyech taking that kind of stuff. Set pieces, he can take free kicks, he can take corners. I mean, this lad is... There's a reason why, Tuchel doesn't want to let him go. There was, there was an incident in this match where he fell on his back and he hurt himself, and the whole fan base, I could see on Twitter, take him off. And Tuchel still wasn't taking him off because the man is that important to the whole setup. Eventually, obviously, he did come off, and we looked a little bit different in midfield without him. So, kudos to Mason Mount. Ryan, thanks for coming back. Both Ryan and I, we had a bathroom break. We just had to. Ryan, let's talk about this second goal, which was just as sublime. I think probably some of the best passing movement I saw up front. I believe, once again, the setup was something like this. Let me just create this. Boys, I can't really remember who the long ball... Was it Andres Christensen that provided that long ball to Kai Havertz? Can't remember who did that. Do you guys know?
Can't remember.
No clue, no.
Yeah, look, but bottom line, someone provided a long ball. Live chat, please let us know who that long ball was from. I'm pretty sure we've got over 80 people online. Let us know who that ball was from to Kai Havertz for the second goal. So basically, Ryan, Kai Havertz gets that ball in sort of this sort of area. He lays it off to Werner.
Chilwell. No, can't recall.
Chilwell's all the way down here. I'm not really sure. People are saying Chilwell. People are saying Chilwell.
So it was a cross ball. It was a cross-field ball, I thought. Or it was him or Mount, either way. So
it was a ball from here, was it? Like it was a cross-field ball?
A bit further up the field, but a bit further up the pitch.
Yeah, look, a lot of people are saying Chilwell, so I'm pretty sure it's probably Chilwell. And then Kai gets the ball. Brilliant control. And then the passing sequence, so he just passed it to Werner. All the defense sort of in 6s and 7s, and then Kai sort of drifts in nicely. Timo Werner puts the ball through, and then Kai just slots it nicely, man. Ryan, what do you think about that movement, man? Well, I've not seen that level of movement under Tuchel so far, and that was really brilliant to see.
I think that, whenever Kai is on the ball, it just seems like he has all the time in the world. But he does things so quickly at the same time. It's odd. It's mind-boggling because you don't really see players like that. He always seems calm. And one thing, he always thinks before he does something. He always finds the right pass, whether it's the shortest pass in the world. He always has the right time and when to release the ball, when to pass it through, when to keep it, when to hold the ball. It's something, when to dribble forward, when to shoot. I'm just impressed every time I see him play now. He struggled at the beginning of the season, but I'm just impressed every time. Kudos to Werner for that through ball. It looked beautiful. Barcelona-esque through ball there.
How nicely did he wait to slide that through?
Yeah, I made a joke that he passes so well between small spaces. I mean, why can't he just pass it into the net? You know what I mean? But
just pass it into the net.
Yeah, just pretend Ziyech is in the net and pass it into the net. But
Bro, you're too funny, man.
Yeah, I think that was so. I know you mentioned something about Werner and his finishing. I just wanted to mention it. Versus Kai, he said that Kai doesn't think too much about it. I was listening to the commentators talking, and I think it's the opposite with Werner. I think he's trying so much now not to think about it that he's kind of scuffing his shots. Yes, he's getting clean contact, but he isn't thinking with his first touch. Sometimes he would have his first touch with his wrong foot. It guides him to a place where he can't have a clean shot or a clear shot. Sometimes he uses a wrong foot to shoot. Sometimes he would shoot from a weird angle instead of cutting in. Sometimes he would cut in when he could shoot from a good angle. I think that, like, if you listen to, I know a lot of people doesn't like Michael Owen's punditry, but I think it's really good from a striker's perspective, because he always goes and shows what body position a striker is supposed to have upon receiving the ball. Why would they receive it with this foot instead? How to make their first touch better? How to set up to have a clean shot, a clear shot on goal? I think Eunice was talking about this. I don't know if you all saw his video on Werner. He did a whole video on Werner this week, talking about him. And he was saying that the only thing that has him worried about Werner is that the lack of thought behind his finishing and his first touch. As a striker is supposed, it's art to collect a ball and to set up your body in a way to score goals. It's an art. And I think that I haven't watched Werner a lot before, so I can't say that Werner does not possess that art. That would be very narrow-minded of me. But it's something that I want you all to check out. I think Eunice hit it on the nail. They hit up the nail there. That when he gets into these positions as a striker, if he completes that last 10% of his game, because he does 90% correctly, he can become one of the most deadliest forwards. I wouldn't say striker, but forwards.
Ryan, do you remember what I tweeted just a few days ago and you requoted it? I said that if Timo Werner just learns to finish those chances that he's missed this season, I honestly think he's world's number one. Like, the guy assists, the guy scores, he'll become world's number one.
He missed 21 clear chances, right? If he missed only half of that, which is a lot still, he would have nearly 20 goals this season. That's crazy for his first season. A lot of people says he'll take time to adapt to the Premier League, but I think he adapted really well now, because he doesn't lose the ball as much. He doesn't get overpowered as much. He doesn't hit his passes too heavy as much. He doesn't rush his passes anymore. I think his all-round play has adapted really well. I think he holds up play better now. He passes really good. He picks out the right passes really good. He doesn't take on players like a Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he still is doing that better now. I think he's adapted to the Premier League. The only thing missing now is that final shot, and Eunice was talking about that. And I think he will get that back with confidence.
I'm confident he will, bro. Because a caliber of his level of player, I just can't see how he doesn't get that back next season. I feel like next season, as he adapts to the country a little bit more, to the situation, as I said to RJ in the preview, we forget about these elements, Ryan, that the things that we don't talk about outside of football, the society that you're living in, the environment, even different food, Ryan, different sort of food and all of that kind of stuff would be so much different to where he used to be. You know what I mean? Like, all of that takes a bit of time to get adjusted to. And I feel like, it will change for him. It will 100% change for him.
100%. No, I agree. I was just saying on that, I feel like we had the same conversation in the preview about how a striker has so many, like every position has so many different roles to play, and he's almost a perfect tick for all of them but the finishing at the moment, which is obviously the most proportionate weighting you give to a striker. But once he satisfies that, it's good luck everybody else.
See you later, everybody else. Taryn, let's get into the player performances, ladies and gentlemen. 135 people live right now. Smash that like button if you're enjoying the review. We're going to get into the player performances and also the panelists. Check their socials in the description. Follow them everywhere. Taryn, let's go with Havertz. We talked about the goal, but let's get deeper into it. 2 more goals. I think it was 1 goal against Palace. Fine performance against Everton. I know we've sort of talked about that. There is doubt. Can he always be that, that false 9 kind of player? But we've always said that he can definitely develop into a very, very good player. But can Chelsea sort of wait around, be patient for him to develop? Because next season we want to, challenge for Premier League titles. But do you think, honestly speaking, Taryn, with this week, the rumors where Lukaku seems like he still wants to stay at Inter Milan. There was a tweet from Fabrizio Romano saying that Lukaku, all of that rumors that we were talking about is not true. Haaland, I don't know how much of that is actually going to happen for Chelsea. Harry Kane is a massive long shot, Taryn. So do you feel maybe Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, hopefully, I don't know if Tammy sticks around. Do you feel maybe we can somehow put something together next season, and perhaps Kai could develop even more next season?
Well, I'm going to be completely honest to give my genuine opinion on the striker matter right now. I have no doubts whatsoever that Kai Havertz is a good enough false nine, a good enough striker to start for us in the future, start for us next season. I have no doubts at all. I think he has the ability. In streams before, you guys are kind of mentioning that he doesn't have the finishing ability. In that Crystal Palace game, he already scored a crucial goal. He was so influential to that game that maybe the chances were maybe snatched up a bit too soon. But in my opinion, I literally have no doubts that Havertz is going to be a top world-class false nine striker for this club. He suits the position so well, His late runs into the box, late runs getting him behind. The way he's quite physical, as Ryan said, he's really composed. He just goes around the pitch, glides like a Rolls Royce around the pitch. So composed. I have no doubt whatsoever. It's just a fact that if we can wait for him to become, from what he is now, a very good false nine to, the Chelsea standard, the Drogba kind of standard, the Costa standard, the top world-class strikers, we can wait. In my opinion, 100% we can wait. Because right now he's doing enough, but he's not scoring 2-3 goals a game. He's not scoring influence in the game hugely, but I still think he's doing enough. And if we need to buy a striker, I don't think we should waste money on the striker. I mentioned before, we have Werner, who will probably come good next season. We can prioritise a DM, we can prioritise a centre-back. I say a DM is probably the main position that we need to go for next season 100%. I'm going to say Tuchel, like we were saying earlier, is how if he transitions the kind of DM with the two attacking eights, we definitely need a DM in that formation.
Yeah.
We definitely 100% need a player of all abilities, all action, like CDM who can defend and go forward. But in my mind, I have no doubts Havertz can be a world-class striker for Chelsea in the future, in the near future, even at that. But that's kind of the factor that Havertz kind of has all the things you kind of need for that role. He's really smart in his positioning. The run he made finally,
great passing,
the way he kind of dips. Exactly, passing as well. The way he kind of dipped before to stay onside he's rarely ever offside. Maybe that one chance in the first half, but the way he kind of dips his runs, he moves just a little bit. So smart. Not many defenders can deal with his pace, his physicality, the way he's so strong, so composed on the ball. And I'm so happy he's had a decent end to the season like last year. Because let's just kick on from it with Havertz now. Because I really don't want to have to end up by another striker. We spent money on Havertz. We spent money on Werner. Let's not go out and spend 100 million on Lukaku, 150 million on Haaland. Let's stick with what we've got. We've got some great talent.
I don't think they're coming. That's the thing. I don't think these guys are going to be.
We were linked with Aguero and Martinez, but I just seriously think we stick with Havertz. I'm so impressed with Havertz again. Every performance he's putting in now, he mentioned in an interview before he's becoming more confident with this game. He's starting to turn up more and more. But these performances recently have, you can say it in interviews. It doesn't always mean it. He definitely means it. He's sure. Yeah. He feels confident in the way he's playing. He's adapted to the league. And I also wanted to add, from corners as well, it's not a big deal, but how many times? I counted 5 times from corners. He was heading it away with his height. So crucial in defending set pieces. Exactly. And also, I wanted to mention, this guy is 21 years of age. I always forget how young he is. 21. He's younger than Mason Mount.
He's younger than Mason Mount.
Exactly. He's younger than Mason. He's such a tall guy. You sometimes think he's like 30 years old or something. The way he's so composed on the ball, but he's so young, so much time to grow. And the fact he's this good of a player at this age, it blows my mind. Incredible. It really does blow my mind. It's absolutely incredible. And I mentioned before, the way you just got Havertz is a Rolls Royce on the pitch. He glides around the pitch. He's luxury. He's composed. He's just so good, in my opinion. And I know I'm gassing him up a bit too much here, but another great performance at Stamford Bridge. And I believe it's his first goal since Southampton at home at Stamford Bridge. I'm pretty sure it is. So big moments for Havertz. Hopefully he can turn up. Hopefully he starts against Real Madrid, in my opinion, to deal with the transitional phases. They're probably going to come at us a little bit. Like RJ said, they probably will sit back and try and nick one goal. But when it comes to the last stage in the game, it will open up space for Havertz. And for me, honestly, I'm saying it right now on this channel, I have no doubts Havertz is good enough this season, next season, whatever season, to be a world-class striker at Chelsea Football Club. No doubts whatsoever.
No, for sure, man. Just in the last discount, the jersey discount, I got the Havertz jersey, so I can't wait till that comes along, and I can't wait to wear that. And yeah, look, every week I'm a bit confused as to, because last week I was like, we need a 20-goal striker. But then if Tuchel changes his formation with a lone DM, then you sort of start thinking, well, you need a different style of DM maybe. So look, maybe you get both. Maybe you get a striker and a DM, but at the moment,
Wouldn't be
there's no
surprised.
striker.
Chelsea.
Yeah, the crazy part is we don't have a big striker in the market. You know, as I said, Haaland, long shot and a half. Lukaku doesn't want to come at the moment. Kane probably won't join Chelsea as much as all the props that I'm trying to do in social media to get Kane. I don't think that's probably going to happen. So, you know, it's up to our players to step up and do what they can. I just want to bring this up. Really, really nice sort of information that was provided by RJ. RJ, do you want to just quickly talk through this one?
Yeah, no, it was quite interesting because I saw this from CFC Daily, and he broke down both this stat from the attacking side of things as well as defense. And as we can see clearly here is that we generate a lot of chances. Obviously, we're ranked first. We have a lot of shots on target, but the problem lies therein, which is what most fans consistently say. It's really that shot conversion. It's quite staggering stats. 9%, 13th in the league, and 6th goals overall as a result. So obviously the macro version or summary of this result says that, and if you had the defensive ones there too, Miz, if you bring that up as well, when you get a second.
Let me just bring
while you bring that up, I'll just talk to the defensive one. As Miz is going to show in a second, where we're first across the board defensively. Since he's come on, we've shut up shop and we've got ourselves really safe at the back and worked our way to the front. But as we can see, Tuchel's done wonders defensively and he's tried to really improve that. Look at this, first across the board.
That's phenomenal, bro. That's phenomenal.
Top class, that's top class management, because you come into a situation where the team's going through a turbulent time. There's a bit of chaos around you. You really need to get results short and sharp. So what's the basic thing you do? You fix up your defense and look at those
100%.
stats. He's fully vindicated. But then when we saw in the attacking sense, it's not to say that, and I've sort of been a bit critical myself in the saying that, have we tweaked the dial too much? I.e., have we been too defensive with the three at the back and just generally not creating enough full chances, not half chances? But as we saw in those other stats, we are creating enough chances. We're just not putting them away. So I think it's not a tactical problem. It's more about personnel, and not just personnel. We're just not getting the rub of the green at the moment. The players have got to take some accountability, but I dare say that we are seeing the some improvements in that space, because we are starting to score 2 goals or more a game now. So let's just see what happens. But I just thought they were interesting stats to share.
No, 100%. You know, there's no. It's not a secret. We're the number one. I think most clean sheets kept in Europe at the moment. Chelsea's number one at that under Thomas, or since Thomas Tuchel has come on, or something like that. Something ridiculous. And you're right, RJ. You know, he's come in and he's fixed up the defense, which needed to be fixed. And he said it. We want to be very difficult to beat. That was his goal. I want to make
it's just like it's a general equation. I'm sorry, Taryn. Go on.
Yeah, I just want to say they're similar to Timo Werner's, and he has everything. It's just the finishing that's missing. That's an insane stat. When I saw that, you know, I didn't expect us to be first in shots taken, whatever it was, and chances created. That's insane. And it's just the fact of missing chances again. And then, like we said with Timo Werner, he's going to be the best striker. Like you said, Miss, he's going to be a world-class striker. Imagine us when we start taking these chances. We'll be up there with like the best teams in Europe. It's going to be crazy scenes, absolutely insane. It's just a balance. But RJ, them stats, fair play, them stats are really, really incredible. And I'm really surprised by the chances created one.
Yeah, man. To be honest, I'm not entirely surprised by the chances created, because I see it every game that we create so many. Look at the Real Madrid one, boys. How many goals did we miss out in that first half? We should have been 3-0 up. Do you know what I mean? Or 3-0 before the equalizer happened. So every game I see us creating a lot of chances. We just don't put it away. So that's the thing about that. Ryan, let's talk about Timo Werner. We talked about Kai Havertz. Let's continue with the player performances. Timo Werner, once again, man. I mean, Ryan, I know you were a bit frustrated in that Real Madrid game, but you've made that thread showing exactly why, you know, Tammy doesn't get that opportunity, and also why, you know, Werner, what he does for Thomas Tuchel up front. I still remember offline, you came back to me in the DM saying that there's a lot of things that Timo Werner does, which you saw when you saw the game the second time, the third time, that game against Real Madrid. and you said that the Real Madrid's defense was scared to, put their line up or even press that much because of Timo Werner. And once again, in this game, another assist, probably should have had 2 assists. That Ziyech should have been a goal. And Werner was filthy when that was missed. He was filthy. And I wanted to say, Timo, don't get filthy, man. You don't put those chances away as well. So you cannot be filthy about that. But, this man, there was a comment here where Matisse apparently said in his stream today that maybe we need to start looking at him as a creator. But what do you think about his overall game, my man?
Well, in my thread, I named, I think, 5 players who can play in that front 3 with that 1 and 2 up top. Because that little triangle of 1 and 2 up top, they interchange several times a game. So each of them can do 3 things. They can drop deep to create as an attacking midfielder and dribble out of trouble. So they are not only attacking midfielders who plays passes, they actually use their physicality and dribbling to get out. And then on the 2 up top, the other 2 roles are to run and dribble in behind or on the ball as a winger to provide and hit crosses into the box. And then the 3rd role is running in behind off the ball as a striker. So I think Timo is the only one of Timo and Kai who has that striker's instinct to run in behind. Yes, Pulisic and Ziyech has done phenomenal in that role. They've surprised me with how well they've learned and developed that instinct to get in behind. But I think naturally, Werner, more than Kai even, has that striker's instinct that he always keeps the centre-backs engaged. It's crazy. He always keeps the centre-backs engaged. They always have to have a side eye on him. And then put that together with Kai on top. Well, now you only have 2 eyes. How you gonna get these 2 guys under control? Then you have Kai dropping deep, and then somebody else making a run in behind, and Chilwell on the other side far making a run in behind. And all of a sudden, you feel overwhelmed. It's chaos. And I think this 3-5-2. Yeah, you'll hear me. Yeah, I think this 3-5-2 it works best in knockout competition football, or football where teams won't sit back, where they have to play football. Our pressing works best when teams have to play football, not just sit back. When we sit back, we can change to a 3-4-3 and have a number 9 there waiting in the box for headers, that and that. But what we have now, I'm confident for this Real Madrid game. Once the boys feel fresh, because this whole 3-5-2 is dependent on our pressing and winning back the ball in the midfield or in their half. And it really, we need our pressing to be on point, but it will be naive to think that we can press like that for 90 minutes or even 70 minutes or even 60 minutes. Realistically, the most
Ryan,
we're going to get...
if we can do the damage within, say, the first 45 minutes, that's it. You know what I mean? It's about making that damage. We should have damaged Real Madrid in that first 30 minutes. We really should have damaged them.
Exactly what I'm talking about. That pressing is only you can get from 30 minutes. When you get
Ryan,
those chances. Yeah. Oh, you got me?
Yeah, we got you back here.
Oh my.
We got you back. We got you back, Ryan.
Yeah.
You there, Ryan? I think we might have lost Ryan. But look, just quickly from both of you boys, just to talk about Kai Havertz and Timo. Hey, Ryan, you back? Hello?
Yeah.
Ryan, just probably go out and come back in again. Get out and come back in again. Just refresh, restart your Wi-Fi, man. Just quickly from both of you boys, Taryn and Aj. I'll go to you, Taryn, first up. Just on that Real Madrid, I just want to quickly say, Charlie Robinson, I did see your message about talking about Real Madrid, and Deep State is absolutely right. We will have another stream properly talking about the Real Madrid preview. But just quickly from that sense of things, Taryn and RJ, as I said, Taryn, do you start Havertz and Werner against Real Madrid again on that crucial Champions League game?
Yeah, I probably said that earlier, but now I think about it, do we drop Mason Mount and bring in Pulisic? We need Pulisic in that game, in my opinion. Do we leave out? We can't leave out. We have to leave out one.
You probably have to leave out Werner. You probably have to leave out Werner to put in.
But then again,
Pulisic.
I'd say probably an interesting conclusion. They quite compact early on, keep them out, and when they try and press us and play a high line, can you guys hear me? Then we kind of bring on Timo Werner to kind of get him behind, if you can hear what I'm saying now. Maybe bring on Timo Werner for the transition. But early in the game, when they're playing quite a low block, we can bring on Pulisic to kind of break that down. I think that'd be quite interesting. So, yeah, in my opinion, Havertz definitely has to start against Real Madrid after this performance. No, if anyone says Havertz is not playing that game, I'm sorry, you're not a real Chelsea fan. 100%. He's amazing performance. Yeah, Havertz is starting, Mason Mount, and then, in my opinion, Pulisic and bring Werner off the bench.
And then Ajay, we did a stream quite not that long ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, where we said the best front three with Kai Havertz, Pulisic, and Mason Mount. Kind of provides that best package in our opinion. You kind of see that coming back, or do you feel that perhaps Werner has an opportunity against Real Madrid?
I very much think that's what's going to happen, and that's why I think he was exhausted today and actually contributed quite nicely. So I think we will start with the front three you just mentioned. I know it's not the preview, but I do think that's what's going to happen, because I genuinely feel that if we don't get the job done, say if it stays at a 0-0 for the first half and we start getting that 50th, 60th minute, still 0-0, and Real Madrid, guess what? We need to get a goal. It pushes them a bit more forward. Pulisic's probably run his race at that point, and that's a good time to throw on someone like a Timo Werner to exploit that space that's going to be created. But I do think it's going to be that front three. But again, like you said at the start, is Timo Werner someone similar to Mason Mount in the sense that he's not, he's indispensable at the moment. But I just think, I do believe it's going to be the other way around, but he might even, who knows with him, he might play Alonso and Emerson up front. We just don't know with Tuchel.
We got to remember, Pulisic is the one that scored the goal as well against Real Madrid. So, you know what the best part is, guys? The best part is that all of these forwards are playing so well. They're all playing brilliantly. So,
I think
at the moment, go on, Ryan.
I want to add that, I think the recency bias always gets to us, because when we saw that front three in Crystal Palace, we was like, yo, that front three, man, we need to play that. But I think one thing to note that Real Madrid is a big game, and Pulisic and Mount is big game players. If Pulisic and Mount get one chance, they will score. I have no doubt about it.
True.
And that's why Pulisic and Mount has to be there. That third player, it's either between Werner and Havertz for me. I won't mind either one, but I think that with all the pressure that's on Werner right now, a miss now in that game and us getting knocked out could ruin this guy's career.
Here you go, Charlie Robinson, Ryan. Look at this comment. This is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and I mean, he might miss, he might score, but if he misses, that can ruin this guy's confidence, especially if we get knocked out. I mean, that's going to be a whole different level of hate he will receive and pressure and this and that. I think that if push comes to shove, I think he might get to start, to be honest, because our whole all-round play will be better if he starts, but I'm not sure if our finishing will be better if he starts. So it's like it's like a lose-lose and a win-win situation in a way. It's weird, but either way, Pulisic and Mount needs to start, because they are big game players. And I want to just finish that point before I start to stick last time. That pressing, it's only realistic for 30 to 50 minutes. We will, and we are bound to get chances in those 30 and 50 minutes. We will win back the ball. We will get those chances. We have to take it. I suspect we would get 2 of those chances, or not even 2, 1 of those clear chances, together with a couple half chances. We need to take that clear chance. And that's why I really, really want Pulisic and Mount there, because if they get that one chance, they will score it. And Havertz have a feeling that if he gets that one chance also, he will score it. Together with Ziyech, he will score that one chance, even though he did not do it today, but he always does it.
Champions League Ziyech, baby. Champions League Ziyech.
Champions League players are different. Like, people laugh at me when I say Willian is a big game player, but man, Willian is a big game player. Like, he shows up for these big games. Chelsea, always had players who showed up for big games. They may not show up for small games, but they always had the personnel to show up for big games. Willian, Pedro, those guys, man. So I'm excited, and I really hope that we show up because we deserve. I think we really deserve to be there. Out of the 4 teams who played in that semifinal,
Oh, for sure.
I think we were the best performing team in that 4. So we deserve to be there, and we deserve to be in final. So let's.
100%.
Even though I'm getting so pumped up, and this is a Fulham review, I'm getting so pumped up for Wednesday already. I can't wait.
No, 100% we deserve to be there. But yeah, look, it is the Chelsea Fulham review. We're getting into the Real Madrid preview. I know a lot of people want us to talk about that. But look, guys, we have nearly 200 people logged on right now. If you're enjoying the review, smash the like button. At least get it to 100 likes right now. You know, you guys are enjoying it. Smash the like button. And you see my panelists, their socials in the description right now. Follow them. I'll talk about Mason Mount, and we'll then talk about the pivot and move further down into the player performances. What can I say? The boys have already mentioned about Mason Mount. This guy is just developing game in, game out, season in. Last season, he already showed great talent. This season, he's gone to a different level. And next season, I can only imagine where this kid's going to go. And there's good talks about how Mason Mount, can he be world-class? 100% he can. I think if he continues this growth over the next 2 more seasons and keeps developing, this lad will become 10 goals, 10 assists, easy season in, season out. And he'll push it to 15 goals, 15 assists because he's got the lot. He's got the lot and he's got the leadership, which is a total package, man. This kid is a total package, and we are blessed to have a player like him. As Ryan was saying, there is no way that Real Madrid team sheet, when we bring it out against them, it will have Mason Mount. You can have all the different permutations up front with this one, that one, this one. If you do not have Mason Mount, throw that paper and chuck it in the bin, honestly. It will never start. Mason is unbelievable for Thomas Tuchel, and he's the MVP. That's what I'm going to say. Mason Mount is the MVP. He's going to end up winning the Chelsea Player of the Year as well, which is crazy at the age of 22. I'll go to you, Taryn, now with the double. Well, we didn't really even have a double pivot, to be honest. It was more of a, Billy Gilmour in the 6. But Ziyech, let's talk a little bit about Ziyech, Taryn, before we go into Billy. For me, Ziyech wasn't that bad. I think the fan base is a bit mixed. They were sort of saying he was wasteful. Some are saying he was very good defensively. He tracked back. He helped out Billy Gilmour. He tried to provide those through passes as much as he could. Should have finished it. Had he finished that goal, Taryn, that first half opportunity, I think we all would have been so excited. The whole fan base would have been very excited. He looked very disappointed when he was substituted, man. And I couldn't understand that substitution either. I was like, Ziyech could have played on. Like, he hasn't played that much. And you brought in Kante. Maybe you could have taken Mason Mount and brought in Kante. Do you know what I mean? What do you think about Ziyech's game?
You can tell the passion when you're talking about Ziyech, just like with me and Werner. You can tell you're literally like smiling all the lot. But definitely, I think Ziyech's defensive work rate today really surprised. When he was dropping in, this guy was getting stuck into challenges. He was literally not taking any prisoners. He was proper helping Billy in that pivot, which I was really surprised to see. I've never really seen Ziyech in kind of that 6 role before. Even at Ajax, we kind of saw him fluidly between Neres and Promes and Tadic. I've never really saw him in that role. But today, we saw under Lampard before that Ziyech he started on the right. He played some cross balls, but he drifted all over the place. He was a free-roaming playmaker. He was doing kind of everything. And in this game, he was kind of doing that, but maybe not playing that right winger role at times. He was kind of just drifting all over the pitch, creating play with his quick one-touch passing. And like I said before, at the start of the game, we were playing some sexy football, you know what I mean? We were playing them quick one-touch passes around the box. We were passing. Ziyech was an orchestrator. He was like the main guy in the orchestra with the, the wand who's kind of directing the whole thing. He was kind of that guy in the pitch and so crucial. I was quite surprised.
Maestro.
Is it called a maestro? Let's just say maestro. Who cares? Yeah. He was just, he was amazing today. And like I said, he was kind of like an attacking 8 next to Mason Mount behind Gilmour, and it really worked well. I'm not going to lie. It was looking really nice on the field. It was really aesthetic on the eye. And look, I can't fault Ziyech today. He's putting in performances I haven't seen since that game, maybe like Barnsley. Every single performance he's putting in, he's proven to Tuchel that he should be starting. But it's just difficult. We only have 3 slots in this team where so many people are playing well. We have Mount, who, come on, if we had Messi, well, Messi.
Tuchel said it that he deserves to start. Tuchel admitted it. He's like, he does not deserve to be in the bench. So I just hope that Ziyech just stays composed. Do you know what I mean?
But also at that stage, I don't think he's worth it to maybe change the whole formation just to benefit him. I think it's working so well at the minute that we need to stick with it. And all we can hope for is every time he gets his chance, say performers like this, he's getting in good positions, making good passes, getting stuck in. If Tuchel's watching us today on the sidelines, he's picking out 3 main players on the pitch today. Well, apart from Mendy, maybe Mason Mount, Ziyech, and Timo Werner are the players who really stood out for him, in my opinion. Ziyech has proven time and time again, but Pulisic, getting huge goals against Real Madrid, you can't drop him for Pulisic. With Havertz, he's getting 2 goals. It's crazy what can happen. We have so many players who are playing well. It's difficult, but I want to see Ziyech play more. He has that kind of that X factor, that kind of finesse about him that he's so much ease on the ball where he can
Atletico Madrid, bro. Second leg, Atletico Madrid. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Was that when he made that pass to someone and they missed it? When he kind of swerved it? Who was that against? When he kind of outside of the boot.
Porto.
Yeah, Porto. I think it was
Pulisic through.
Yeah, Pulisic, and he missed that. That was when we lost 1-0 and Taremi scored that. Insane. But seriously, what performance by Ziyech today? It's a different role for him. I think there was an interview with, I think it was Edmund van der Sar saying how this role isn't suited to Ziyech, but all he can do is, not cry about it, not say, oh, I want to play right, and like really far on the wide, I want to play there. Whatever he's playing, whatever Tuchel puts him, he needs to play well. And you have to say he is doing that at the minute. Maybe not performing 10 out of 10s, 100 out of 10s. He's just doing enough to kind of say to Tuchel, I should be playing every game. And I think he could have a shout for Real Madrid. Honestly, it could be that kind of, we saw against Man City and Liverpool where it was kind of Werner and Ziyech, the 2 scorers and Mount. We don't know what's going to happen with Tuchel. RJ said it's almost like...
Bro, we're blessed. We are blessed, honestly.
The magicians just have like a hat and they just pull out a rabbit out of like a little hat. That's kind of Tuchel. You don't know what he's going to pull out of that magic box of his. But, I'm very impressed with Ziyech today. Very, very impressed.
100%. Sam Ritter, man. What a comment. This is the comment of the stream so far. Miz, I want to invest in your cryptocurrency. Channel is going. Keep working, man. Thank you so much, Sam Ritter. That was honestly a really, really good comment. Cheered me up nicely. Boys, our forward pack. Do you remember just when Tuchel came in, it was only a couple of the forward players that were doing well, and then we were sort of hoping that Pulisic will come good, Ziyech will come good, Havertz will come good, and now they are all banging in goals. They're all in. Ziyech, Man City, winner, FA Cup semi-finals. Ziyech, Atletico Madrid, second leg. Starts the craziness for us. Sheffield United, the second goal in the FA Cup. Havertz banging in goals now. Palace, this match. They're all. Timo Werner cannot stop assisting. He's just providing. Pulisic, crucial goal against Real Madrid, and he's been scoring goals as well. So we are blessed at the moment. So, any sort of front 3, obviously Mason Mount has to be one of them. And then the other 2 are really, it's up to Thomas Tuchel, whatever he wants to do. RJ, let's talk a little bit about Billy Gilmour. I thought Billy, in the first 15 minutes, as we said, looked a little bit, isolated. But then again, we were looking for that lone DM. But as the game sort of went on, Fulham sort of tired in their pressing, but Billy as well started becoming a little more smarter in that midfield, a lot more quicker sort of passing sequences. I thought it was a pretty good showing, man, and it kind of showed me that he is the long-term sort of future once Jorginho leaves. And I want him to stick around. I know a lot of people will say that he needs to go on loan. I've even said it at times that if he doesn't get the minutes, he needs to go on loan. But do you think this is a Foden kind of situation that maybe he needs to just stick around and his time will come as soon as Jorginho's time sort of starts finishing off with Chelsea, that he will see a little bit more minutes next season. Season after that, he'll see a lot more. And then like Foden this season, he's seeing a lot of minutes, and Foden has become Man City's one of the most important players. Do you feel like that is the transition with Billy Gilmour? RJ?
It's a difficult one for me. Firstly, I'll say that, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so firstly, I'll just say, with Billy, I was very happy for him to get the start and complete the 90 minutes, I believe. And while I didn't think he necessarily was one of the standout players, he had a bit of a tough start, because not just him, but the team had a tough start, because Fulham actually pressed us quite well and really pinned us back and made it difficult for us to impose our game. But then after that first goal came in, they sort of dropped their heads and Billy started going into the game a bit more. So I thought it was great to see that for someone that hasn't had much opportunity to show his case, he didn't do himself any harm into getting some more trust from Tuchel. I don't think he's going to start too many more games going into the rest of the season, but I think that there's definitely a case for him to start getting some more minutes and cameo roles as the games progress. In terms of his medium, long-term future, that's where I think our views may diverge ever so slightly, because I feel even though with Foden, his developments come on leaps and bounds, I just think for someone like him, like Billy at the moment, and we've seen tastes of what he can bring, I just think I want to see that harnessed. Yeah, good job, Taryn. I wish we could talk to him in person. But no, what I was saying though is I think for someone, him at that tender age, I think that he's better served by going out and getting those regular starts. But the caveat is, just because you go out on loan doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get guaranteed starts. So is he better off learning from the best back at Chelsea?
And RJ, he needs that right type of team to play that
as well.
Because he can't just be playing for like a Burnley. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. And that's what I was going to say. If he had to go to a team that has a similar approach or philosophy with the way we would play, otherwise it's chalk and cheese and it's useless type of learning. But I do think minutes at his age are pretty critical in terms of his development. But who knows, if Jorginho goes in the summer, which, by the way, I'm not advocating he does, if he does go, then the case for him staying becomes all the more stronger.
Have to. Yeah, go on, Ryan.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something on Billy Gilmour. You know, we all talk about him being a long-term replacement for Jorginho, but even though he may play in that pivot, I don't see him as a similar player to. I see him as similar to Jorginho, but not a direct replacement.
Because not a direct
because Billy Gilmour has so much untapped potential going forward. I can see his shots that we have seen in the past,
more athletic as well, right? More athletic as well, I think.
He has the legs to dribble forward. He's really good
and more progressive.
Yeah, so he's like a box-to-box CM to me instead of a sitting DM. So I would like to see him get a loan somewhere that he can try out new positions in that midfield and get more minutes into his system. I think this period where he stayed at Chelsea is really good because he got to learn under Tuchel despite not playing. So he kind of has an idea what Tuchel wants from him, whether he goes on loan or not. He knows what Tuchel is looking for. He has the basics. You know, Tuchel says a lot about body position and when receiving the ball, this and that. It's really in depth. So I think that I would like to see Billy get the freedom to rule that midfield, because he is a player that can play anywhere in that midfield. He has so much untapped potential. I think he's a player that's going to get many goals and assists for us compared to Jorginho, who has a specific role in this system.
No, agreed, man. And we also need to appreciate the fact that not every loan moves work out, guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because someone will go on a loan and it will work out amazingly, it hasn't happened 100% of the time. Do you know what I mean? So we have to be very careful. Maybe the best is for him to stick around under Thomas Tuchel. I have a feeling Thomas Tuchel might not let him go on a loan because of all the things that you guys have said, that Tuchel might have seen this kid's talent and he might want to harness that within the team, and eventually he'll get into it. But Taryn, you're going to say something.
Yeah, you mentioned at the start the kind of Gilmour debate about Phil Foden. I think that's actually a very similar kind of a comparison, that Phil Foden didn't go out on loan. He got to work with all these world-class players in training week in, week out. He got to work with Guardiola to know exactly, he can go out on loan and work with, Phil Foden can go out and work with Carlo Ancelotti. He can go out and work with, Ralph Hasenhüttl. But they're not going to know he's not going to know what he wants from his manager when he comes back to the team. He can learn maybe to get to grips with the league, get to grip with the physicality. But if you want to learn tactically how you can fit in with your manager, what's the best thing to do? Stay with him week in, week out, day in, day out on the training ground, know exactly what you want, speak to him one-on-one all the time. Whether Tuchel's going to be here with the same time as Guardiola, well, right now it looks like he's going to be, hopefully. You know what the club's kind of like. But if Gilmour's working week in, week out with Thomas Tuchel, speaking to him about where he likes to be in that pivot as a lone DM, I think that's going to be best for him in the future, honestly. And yeah, Tino had a Drew in the bench. So I kind of tackle this as well, Miz.
Yeah, it's just a trade-off, but it's a trade-off, though, isn't it? Because I was going to say, I agree 100% what you're saying, Taryn, but is the trade-off there by absorbing all the tactics and working with the players, if that doesn't translate to actual match games and simulations, is that good enough? I think that's a hard one to understand. So it's a matter of perspective, I think. So
I think
it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Yeah, you go, Miss.
I was going to say that 100% understand what you're saying, RJ, that it is a bit of a trade-off. You know, you can take all of the tactics, but if you're not playing, but sending him on a loan, let's just say for argument's sake, where could you send him on a loan that would fit the kind of style that Tuchel wants? Leeds is the only one that I can think of. Leeds, but
Brighton, maybe if he goes to Brighton.
Or Brighton. Yeah, or Brighton. But is Leeds Bielsa going to be that type of a manager that, Chelsea, bring your players, let me develop them for you, and then you can take him back? I don't think he's that level of a manager. He wants to raise Leeds' game. He's not going to lay the foundation for Chelsea's future. Brighton, maybe, but is Brighton a team that can compete week in, week out with the opposition? So you don't want another situation where Ampadu, who gets relegated, Loftus-Cheek. You want him to have that confidence, do you know what I mean? But
I understand.
It's similar because Ben White worked under Bielsa for 2-3 years and he developed into a very, very good centre back. I watched him in the game at Stamford Bridge, and he's played at Brighton now. He's very good. So, but yeah, RJ, very, very good points for me about that as well. It's kind of trying to decide what's best for him. But Tuchel spoke to him. He believes that staying with him. I say we should back Tuchel and back what Gilmour wants. Gilmour believes in what Tuchel's saying. Tuchel's obviously said to him, instead of going out alone, you can stay at work with Jorginho, Kovacic and Kante, get all the attributes on the training, speak to them, almost like John Terry did with Andreas Christensen all them years ago, speaking to him on the training ground one-on-one. Then when Terry kind of left, I believe it was 17-18, Christensen kind of came in and kind of, I wouldn't say took the mantle, but got all of Terry's kind of captain leadership input and put it into his own game. So it's a very, very interesting debate, and it's kind of looking at what's kind of going to be best for him. But for me, I'd say maybe he has to stay. And kind of on the Tino Andrew debate that was kind of in the comments, I think it's been confirmed by someone, not officially confirmed, that Giroud is probably going to leave in the summer. So I don't really see the point. Maybe just his last hurrah, bring him a few games. That can be towards the end. That can be Aston Villa, already confirmed. Right now, it's about, this is a game I believe that he thought maybe if a 2-3 up, we can bring on Tino for some game time. Because obviously he decided to stay with us instead of going out on loan as well. So Tino played against Sheffield United, I believe, and Barnsley in the Cup. So I think that's a very interesting debate. We can talk about that maybe in another episode in the future. But that's very, very interesting that Giroud was dropped.
Yeah, no, Andrew, I've seen that particular comment from you quite a few times, so just wanted to bring it up. I think, look, there's lots of reports out there saying that Giroud's time's finishing at the end of this season. His contract is till the end of this season, so I don't think Chelsea's going to go out there and increase that contract anymore. That's probably the reason why he's not in the bench at the moment, because we barely use him. So might as well use someone like Tino and then give him that minutes and then, see what happens. But I think Giroud's time is coming to an end. I'll take talking about the wing backs. I think RJ and Chilwell both played well. RJ defensively was monster. The way he sort of bumped off some of these Fulham players in midfield, he'll just come in and just shove them off. That was incredible. Defensively, he was sound. He was always in the right position. Awareness was fantastic. Heading clearances and whatnot. I was very, very happy with RJ. I know he can add a little bit more up front, but at the moment, we've got a lot of firepower up front. So it's not like we're lacking up front. We're creating opportunities. So defensively, he's been fantastic, so I can't complain. Chilwell, once again, defensively solid as well. Probably not as, astute as RJ in this particular match, but whenever Chilwell plays now, honestly, I feel safe because I know that this guy's always going to give us that defensive sense. And moving forward, he's decent. He's been chipping in with assists. In this particular match, obviously, as I said, we didn't have to do all of that. So from the wing-backs position, fantastic. I'll go to you, Ryan, in regards to the back three. I thought Zouma, I had question marks on Zouma in the left centre-back position, but I think after the first 10 to 15 minutes, he really grew into it and really did well. Once again, the back three, we keep getting another clean sheet. Thiago Silva was a monster. The sort of, Taryn was saying that what do you call it, maestro. I feel like Thiago Silva is a maestro at the back, and he's just conducting the music, the way the show needs to go. Christensen, again, this kid, honestly, Chelsea, I think, needs to consider giving him a loan contract now. Contract extension. So what do you think about that back three, my man?
I think Fulham they set themselves an injustice not pressing our back three. They allowed our back three, especially Christensen and Thiago Silva, to have freedom to pass from those positions and pick those long passes between the lines and those long high passes also. I think they really did themselves an injustice there. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you going to add anything else, Ryan? We sort of got caught up in that Maldini's middle fingers comment.
I think he cut out.
I think he cut out, man. No.
Yo, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we got you back.
Let's see if I can. No, all I'm going to say is I really think that Christensen is getting into his own in that RCB position, and we seeing that he has the ability to make those darting runs like a Rudiger into those inverted positions, where instead of playing crosses from inverted positions, which Azpilicueta or Reece James would do, I think he is really good at linking play like a midfielder, because he does play midfield for Denmark. So I think he does really good. Like, check it out, all the short passes he does, he links up play. Today he even got himself into the box by the byline. Like, he set up a ball for Mason Mount to shoot. So it's really good. I also want to mention Reece James, his ability to get into those inverted positions. You can see that he was a midfielder also, because today he just looked powerful anytime he dropped into those inverted positions. There's so many times that he won back the ball there and he dribbled there. Not so many times, probably just twice, but it was promising to see that he can also bring another aspect. Yes, he might not overlap as much with the pace to overlap like a Callum Hudson-Odoi, but imagine with Azpilicueta behind him, who can take and hug the sidelines and be a RCB that hug the sidelines, could allow Reece James to cut in and be more inverted like an extra midfielder, and that can help out a lot, especially if you want Kante to join the attack and be that or Kovacic to join the attack, and then Jorginho can stay back, and be alongside Azpilicueta and our back three. I think it's a really good mix that, even though Reece James, a lot of people says he doesn't overlap as much, he also can add to our attack from inverted positions. He has a really good shot on him. He can pass good. He's very powerful. Nobody could throw off Reece James off the ball or win back that ball off him. He's kind of like a Loftus-Cheek in that position. Nobody could get Loftus-Cheek off that ball. Like, he's just too powerful when running on the ball.
Beast.
Yeah, so I think that we have players that we can see that they have so much dimensions to them, and it's just so exciting to see that we can change between 2 to 3 systems during a game. And I know you asked me about our back three. Our back three was fantastic. That when pushed, you can't prepare for a back three. If you press our back three high, then Chilwell will drop in, make it a 4-4-2, and then we'll build from the side and destroy you. If you let us have room, then our back three would send long balls and destroy you. You can't do anything. If you want to press us on the wing, not allow us to build there, we can switch play through the center and destroy you. It doesn't matter where you try. If you try to close us down in a place of the pitch, you're going to leave space on another side of the pitch, and we're going to kill you. Sorry to say it like that. But I mean, that's the kind of mentality I have anyway. And that's the kind of mentality Tuchel has too. We put people in a dilemma that you play your move, and wherever your move is, we have a move that's going to basically kind of take those spaces you leave and make you pay for it. So I love that.
Yeah, no, absolutely well said, man. I mean, our defense is rock solid. The three at the back, we talk about whether we're going to change the formation, but if it's not broke, you know what I mean? Like, why would you want to change? We want to talk about 2 more players. We'll talk about Mendy right now. He deserves a lot of praise. Taryn, Mendy kept us in the game, man. Mendy kept us in the game. Some big saves in that first half. Second half sort of died off. I think we're far more in control. But that first half, just before the halftime finish, how he made that reflex save, I think it was deflected off one of our players, and then he made a reflex save. And even in the first half, there were a couple of ones where he just palmed it over the box, long shots. He palmed it over the post. Man, this whole sort of notion that we need another keeper, that needs to stop. I think this guy is number one keeper, and then we need someone as a solid backup. Whether Kepa can be a solid backup, that's really up to him. Whether he thinks he wants to be number one, then it's up to him to leave and find another club. But if he can sort of say, okay, I don't mind being a backup, which I find it very difficult, a 72 million pounds backup is pretty ridiculous. But Mendy is number one, bro. Mendy is number one for Chelsea. Is that how you see it as well?
I'm so happy you came to me about Mendy because, in my eyes, he was the man of the match today. You can say Havertz scored 2 goals. If it wasn't for Mendy, we could have conceded 2 or 3 today. 100%. I'll start with the first save. Robinson kind of cut inside Antonee Robinson, and it looked like it was over the bar. But what a save. The way he tipped it over the bar. Such strong wrist. Great first save. The second save, I believe it was from Lookman. He got it on the right. A great strike with a lot of power. And Mendy tips it so far wide of the goal. And then we come to the third save. The deflected shot. What a world-class save that was. The way with a strong wrist, he pushed it away from the goal. Stopped us. We saw 2 Fulham players were following in. I was scared. I was generally terrified they were following. But Mendy literally, the deflected shot, he had to move his body position with his wrist, pushed it away. What a save. This guy's coming clutch in the moments. We're under pressure. Yeah. We need a strong, solid goalkeeper. There's a lot of talk about Jamie Carragher, who in them lot saying Mendy can't emulate Alisson, Edison. This guy, for me, has emulated Alisson by far this season, and he's up there with Edison. What an amazing season he's had. His
distribution is getting better as well. Look how comfortable he is with the ball.
I don't know if you guys are correct me. I believe he is right-footed, or is he left-footed? Because the way he pings the ball with both feet, it looks like he's ambidextrous at times, He can hit long balls without pressure. Sometimes I'm a bit scared, but the way he's hit all these passes on the money all the time. All to Chilwell, short, long, all these different passes, and that save from Lookman, I want to talk about that a little bit more. What a save, literally. Fabulous. It was going bottom corner, and he again pushed away from players following in. Absolutely amazing.
And the timing, Darren, it was the timing of it as well, right before half time. If that would have changed the whole dynamic of the game.
100% would have changed it. The whole fan base would have been upset, would have been really annoyed. And he kept, as you said, Taryn, bro, clutch goals and clutch saves. He's making clutch saves.
That's what makes the goalkeepers from, good goalkeepers to, in my opinion, the world-class goalkeepers, that when the team is down and you need your strong goalkeeper behind you to bail you out situations, there he is. There he is. He's always there. Yeah. Spider-Man, the Senegalese Spider-Man, as Angry Ratman calls him, he's always in the areas to make these amazing saves. And I must say, this season, the way he claims crosses, it's helped us so much. From a set piece of last season, I'm sure you guys agree, every time there was a corner, hearts and mouth times, Ziyech in the back post, I don't even know who's coming in. With Mendy, I don't even break a sweat. I don't need to bring my towel from downstairs.
Not scared.
He's always there to claim crosses, catch it. He's so confident, always communicating with Zouma, Rudiger, always being vocal. This back three trusts him, and I feel like that makes him play better. When they have a goalkeeper behind them that's confident with his feet, with saving, that can bail them out, they can play more themselves, passing around in difficult situations, as we see all the time. As Ryan said before, the way when teams come onto us, we break out pressure so well. That's because we have a confident goalkeeper. We're not scared if we make a mistake that he'll come out of the blue and he will save us again. But Mendy, man, absolutely sublime today. I don't know why he hasn't got more votes on the Chelsea, the fifth stand up. He only got 17%, I believe. A real master.
But people only remember goals. That's the thing. People only remember goals. They forget about the saves. Very important saves, honestly. But you're right, Taryn,
in the second half, maybe Havertz wouldn't have had that chance. They would have been coming onto us a lot more. And maybe it would have been a complete different game if that goal goes in. Seriously, this guy, I don't have enough praise to say about him, man. I really don't. Amazing. Week in, week out, saving us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Clean sheets after clean sheets after clean sheets. I think there must be a record now, the amount of clean sheets that he's got this season for his first season. Last player that I want to talk about, RJ, I want to bring this up. Callum Hudson-Odoi, another match not featuring. I had this conversation with Yunus and Matisse not that long ago, and the boys were sort of saying to me, look, at this point in the season, maybe it's not that important to think about all of this stuff, whether he gets minutes or not. It's all about getting the wins. It's all about ensuring that we get the silverware in the FA Cup, continue our run in the Champions League, get into the final, and hopefully win that as well. Finish the Premier League in top 4. Next season, however, RJ, this lad probably needs to get some minutes. How he is going to get minutes, I'm not really sure. But what's your thoughts, man? Obviously, you were keen to talk about this, yeah?
Yeah, no, first I'd just like to say thanks for giving Taryn the easy one about Mendy. Good stuff. But, no, in all seriousness, I did.
You're the experienced one, bro. You're the experienced fella.
No, the old and bold, as they say. But no, I did raise this in the chat because I just thought it was a nice subplot. And to be fair, Matisse and Eunice are right in the sense of our primary focus should be on the here and now. It's all about the results being greater than performances. And if that means there's going to be some casualties in the process, such as Hudson-Odoi, then that's just an unfortunate acceptance we're going to have to tolerate. But I just thought for games such as this, and we spoke about in a preview, even though we selected Reece James to start, we also agreed that this would be an opportune time from a rotation perspective to bring someone like that in, especially against a team like Fulham, who we know are not phenomenal defensively. So we thought this had his name in some shape or capacity to get some minutes. That didn't happen. We got the right result. But what does it mean for him? It's a question mark. I think we're naive to think that this doesn't have some implications for him because he started off prominent front of mind, the whole right wing back conversion, it's a whole revelation. And then all of a sudden he's just fallen off the boil. And it is a bit of a conundrum because we don't obviously go to training. We don't know what's happening, what's he seeing, what's he not understanding or delivering. But there's just nothing that's obvious on his performances that suggests that he doesn't deserve some form of minutes. But again, like Ziyech, even though he's been delivering some clutch goals and playing pretty well for the most part, even he's struggling to break it in. So it's just probably one of those situations where he's a victim of better performances in front of him. And because Tuchel is from the perspective of, I'm only here for a short time, at least 18 months, and I'm at the business end of the season, what the club brought me in for, which is trophies and success. I can't afford to weigh up sentiment and balance out fairness and whatever. It's all about results. Yeah. And it's just one of those situations where I don't think it's personal, so to speak, but I am a little bit concerned. But probably, again, Matisse and Eunice are probably right. Let's just focus on the transactions, those being the 6 games or whatever it is, and reevaluate come off season.
Yeah, no, 100%. Shrey Obero, thank you so much, Shrey, for joining. Cho will come back. Pulisic's return has caused him losing his place, and he isn't a natural right wing back for sure. We've got so much abilities up front. I mean, players like Ziyech and at times Pulisic can't even get in, and then Callum is so far behind in that whole in that order, and that's why we're looking at him to play in the right wing back. But once again, that's not his natural position. And then defensively, Thomas Tuchel wants a lot in that right wing back position. Ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much covers this match. Let's quickly talk about the Real Madrid one up next before we close the shop. Ryan, right now, I feel like it's a great momentum. We got that victory, top 4. I believe we are 6 points in front of West Ham, 7 in front of Liverpool. They've got a couple of matches. They've got a match coming up, obviously, tomorrow. Liverpool playing Man United, so there could be some points dropped there. And West Ham are playing Burnley, and Burnley are not that bad at the moment. I think West Ham away from home, so it could be a tricky fixture for them. Burnley won 4-0 last week against Wolves, so nothing is easy in the Premier League. So we could look very, very good moving into our next Premier League fixture, which is, I think, against City after the Real Madrid game. But yeah, Ryan, how are you feeling about the Real Madrid? You feel like we should be good enough to move into the final? Obviously, you put in notes that Hazard is having a very good game today.
Yeah, I am confident. Do you all know if Ramos is back?
He is back in training. That's what I've been hearing from Madrid Extra or Madrid Zone, that he is back in training. Whether he starts, I mean, I don't know. Is he starting today? Live chat, let us know. Real against Osasuna, it's still 0-0, as Shrey has said. Oh, he's not starting. So I'd find it very difficult. Yeah, so I find it very difficult for him to be thrown against in the Champions League big fixture and come and start. So Ryan, I don't think he'll probably start.
Yeah, I'm very confident for our match. I think team versus team, we are better, especially in this type of knockout football. I think that we might see Aspi as RWB again. I think that we were talking about Callum. I think right now, Tuchel really values having that right wing back staying back and allowing our CDM like Kante or Kovacic to get forward instead, and then having Chilwell overlapping on the far side also to create our attacking five. So I am confident in our game plan. As I talked about before earlier, I think one thing I'm worried about is the experience by Real Madrid. They have a certain experience that I'm only worried about set pieces. I think from a set piece, they can get a header off a corner, they can get a free kick, they can score it, they can get a deflected shot, they can get something like that. I know, like, big teams always find a way.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And that's
Did we just lose Ryan again? Oh, here we go. Ryan's back.
Oh my.
Ryan, you've got the worst Wi-Fi issue today, bro.
Nishal has come to haunt me, man. I took his place and he just got back at me in a way. But I'm just saying that Real Madrid is a big team and all they need is those half chances from a set piece to kill us off. But I think that we're going to see, it's 1-1. If we get a 0-0 draw, we're still in. So I think it's going to be open up. Real Madrid will be forced to play their football. And if we counter-press the way we counter-press and we take our chances, which we're going to get, I think we can win. So I'm excited. I wish I can sleep and wake up on Wednesday. But I have sadly three more days to wait. So, yeah.
100%, my man. 100%. We can't wait for that Real Madrid match. Taryn, my boy, what's your feelings about that match?
Yeah, obviously, I don't think Ryan mentioned a lot, but how important this game is in terms of history, own fans, or just for us to get through to Champions League final. Like, just think about that. Absolutely insane. Tuchel's come in and done this for us. I think we should just deep that a little bit. How insane that is. But in terms of that game, definitely I agree with Ryan. Set pieces, they did cause a lot of issues with getting down on the second balls quicker. I did actually think on the Benzema goal, this is a bit controversial, but I think Christensen could have stopped that. He was a bit flat-footed on his feet. He let Benzema have too much respect and room. Whether the finish was world-class, you can't expect the worst from Benzema. You have to be onto him. You have to be close to him, man marking him. But that was Dustin. I probably should have mentioned that in the match review. But oh well. But definitely, this is one of the biggest games we've watched in years as Chelsea fans. There's no doubt about it. The last game, maybe Chelsea-West Brom when we won the league, was probably biggest game, but what a huge game this is. We have to be wary of Real Madrid. The midfield, I'm sure Zidane won't let the midfield be ran past as they did in that previous game. They're going to be much tighter. They're going to be aware of the threat we have with Mason Mount and Kante. So it's going to be a very interesting battle, and hopefully we can keep a clean sheet because that means we're through.
It's as simple as that, isn't it, Taryn? Keep a clean sheet and we're through. RJ, final thoughts on the Real Madrid game?
Yeah, well, clean sheets and Chelsea seem to be interchangeable these days. So we can use definitely, I'd substitute one of those other clean sheets for one right now against Real Madrid. But I suppose it acts as a platform for what we know how to do under Tuchel. But that said, I wouldn't want to approach this match of, well, we know how to keep clean sheets, so let's just do that. No, I think we've got to go with the mindset of we've got to attack and score some goals, and also bank on our ability to keep a clean sheet, because I think it's a high-risk game to play that, but especially with the experience like Ryan and Taryn mentioned, it's when you've got people like Benzema who can just turn a game on its head with zero to little opportunity, trusting your defense alone without trying to proactively score, I think that's a bit of a strange tactic to apply. I dare say, and as I said earlier in the stream, if we apply the same mentality that we did with the first league and come out and be positive and pursue the goal, that will only serve us to be better. If we're too pragmatic, so it's about a balance. We don't want to just go all out attack because we've got the advantage. That's silly. But if we're too pragmatic and invite pressure and they take advantage of that pressure, the question mark for our guys is if we concede early, we've seen situations where when we've dropped our heads, the mentality and character starts becoming a bit of a question. So it's about us making sure that we're not overwhelmed by a situation against a team who's been there, done that. So I think Tuchel will get that into their mindset. It's about trusting what we know we can do, relying on our sort of collective philosophy that's worked to date, and really just allowing the players to express themselves under the constructs of his sort of strategy. So I think overall, we've got the right formula. We've got the right manager to sort of lead us there. It's just about making sure that we focus on taking our chances and really reducing those set pieces. So that's, I'm feeling not cautiously optimistic is what I'd characterize it as.
Perfect. You boys have said it perfectly, and I don't really have too much to add on to that. Besides saying to the live chat, this commentary, very, very interesting. Varane has just been subbed off with an injury versus Osasuna. So watch this space as to what's going on there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. Smash the like button before you leave. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. The panel and their socials in the description. Follow them, guys. Do all of that jazz right now if you've enjoyed this review. All I'm going to say is look out for the preview whenever that is, whenever the press conference is. Is it Tuesday when the press conference might be? I think so. Probably straight after the press conference, we will come back here, do the Real Madrid preview, and look out for the Wednesday night game. It's going to be a big, big celebration. I have every faith that we're going to go through. I'm just so confident that we're going to go through. So look out for that. It's going to be a wild, wild night. It could be a long stream. I'm going to invite the fans to join, provide their thoughts as well. So I'm going to open it up for everyone. So let's have a celebration Wednesday night, hopefully, for us to move into the Champions League final. So do look out for that. So until next time, everyone, thank you so much, and enjoy your weekend. See ya.